Hello and salam. Welcome to Muslim Viewpoint, a new podcast series powered by American Muslim Today. We're a groundbreaking non-profit digital newspaper who champions civic engagement. AMT informs and empowers the diverse voices of almost 30 million Muslims here in the US and other Western countries. I'm Rifat Malik, I'm AMT's editor-in-chief, and today we have an interview with British teenager Umme Kalsoom, the 16-year-old who has made a name for herself by standing firm in her faith and her love for soccer. Kalsoom spearheaded a campaign to change the rules to allow the hijab to be worn during PE classes alongside her friends, and with the help of the sports inclusion charity Football Beyond Borders. She spoke to our reporter Baya Gala.
So my name is Umme Kalsoom. I'm 16 years old. My parents are from Pakistan, and I was born in the UK, so I'm Pakistani. I started playing sports when I was around 11, so I've been playing it for 4 years through FBB, Football Beyond Borders. Um, I started playing it because I just enjoyed football at the time, and then I playing it for 4 years continuously, I fell deeply in love with the game. But the things I enjoyed, like wearing my hijab on, I wasn't able to do the sports I enjoyed. So I wanted to make a change and make myself as well as other girls feel comfortable in order to play the sport they love, but also wear the piece of cloth they love as well.
Right. And so could you tell me more about this campaign that you spearheaded and what that was like and how you were able to change that rule?
Yeah, so I did it through my school with the help of Football Beyond Borders. Um, it was an easy change. It did take a lot of time, but the school as a whole were very supportive. There was one or two people, but as a whole, the school was very supportive. The teachers came out to help a lot, and it was just great that they were passionate about us girls making a change without really any problems.
So why is it important for Muslim girls and women to be able to wear the hijab while playing?
Um, I think for me, I'm not talking from my own perspective, but for me, wearing the hijab on it's like my shield, it's like my protection. It's something I wear on to feel like myself. So when I wear it on, it's like I feel great about myself. I feel confident, and I love doing the things. And obviously, playing football and being forced to take it off while you're playing a sport that you love, and then going and playing it, it's not really fair. So obviously, wearing the hijab is so important for me because it's something that is deeply to my heart, and obviously, it's something that makes me feel me. So yeah.
And then what kind of challenges did you face while doing this campaign?
Um. So there was a few challenges. Obviously, I wasn't. I was told that I could be excluded if I carried on with the campaign. But this was early stages. Obviously, once I slowly got my point across, then they slowly started to understand, and they were like, "Okay, yeah." But it was just one teacher who wasn't the best way of He didn't have the best way of communicating with me. So once I finally got my point across, she understood. But there was a few challenges. Obviously, um, the fear of going out there and telling people. Obviously, um, there was one day where I was really scared to do the SLT meeting, and I was like, right, I'm not doing this anymore. But hopefully, like, and thankfully, Roya came in and she goes, listen, you're passionate about this. It's good that you're anxious because it shows you care about it. Go do it. It's for the best. So yeah, but there was like a few times where I was anxious and stuff. But FPB and school and my family helped me just get away from that and go do it.
Right, right. And then, yeah, so being so young and doing something kind of, empowering, what did your parents say? How did your family feel?
Um, well, I hope to say they're proud. I hope they are. But yeah, obviously they push me a lot. They want me to go forward. They want me to do well. So yeah, without my mum and dad and my grandma and my granddad, may he rest in peace. Without them for behind my back, I wouldn't obviously come this far. The last 4 years playing football, they didn't understand my love for it then, but now they understand it a lot because I've tried my best to push through cultural boundaries as well as other boundaries, and obviously being raised in a cultural household, a religious household where um, culture is very dominated more over religion, it was hard because there were people that would come up to me and that my extended family would come and call me tomboy and stuff like that. And it's just something I've got used to over the years. So it wasn't an easy journey, but my parents always pushed me to go forward. And now I can happily say that I'm part of a football club. And obviously, without my parents, and without doing this campaign and without other things, without their support, I would have never got where I am today. So I'm very thankful for my family's support.
Yeah. And then, so health and safety are often reasons cited as a reason to not allow the hijab to be worn. Can you tell me more about why that is, why they use this kind of excuse?
I feel like it's a valid excuse, but valid to a certain extent. Obviously, when you're playing the sport, like when I was playing with FPV, they happily allowed me to wear the hijab, and whether it was sports hijab or not, they happily said you can wear it on. They didn't say to me, or but there was a few times my friends that just be careful, your scarf's falling off, you might get strangled or something. But obviously, it is a valid excuse, but like I said, to a certain extent, because when you look at it from a perspective, obviously you're running and your hijab could be pulled on any time. Obviously, football is a sport. Sometimes you don't realize and you get a bit violent. So I feel like it was a valid excuse, but it should have been it should have been already broadcasted to the world that yeah, you should be able to wear the hijab on without any problems. I shouldn't have had to come out here and make a whole campaign about it. It should have easily been given tools.
Right. And then, so recently, I'm sure as you know, the Women's World Cup is going on currently. And they just had their first player who was able to wear the hijab during the football matches. Just kind of, what does that say to you? How does that make you feel?
Um, it made me feel honored and privileged that I'm Muslim, but it made me feel proud of the player because obviously it's a thing that you get mixed feedback on. You get positive and negative. It's not so much easily to go out there and express your religion and stuff because a lot of Islamophobia exists, and then on top of that, it's a women's sport, so a lot of sexism exists as well. So it was great that she felt comfortable and she had the bravery and the courage to go out there and say get her point across and wear the hijab on without any problems. And it's great that I myself leading the campaign, I have a role model to look up to and say, well, if she could do it, then I can do it as well. So it's great having someone to look up to within football and say they did it, so I can do it as well. It kind of like a motivation to push me forward.
Yeah, right. And then, so how much work do you think there is to be done, if any, in terms of continuing to change the rules and make sports more diverse?
I think there's a lot of work to be done yet because if you look at statistics, obviously I haven't got the right statistics on me right now, but there's a lot of things in women's football that there is in the men's that needs to be in the women's football as well. It's the same sport as like obviously as women, we have a lot of differences to men, like our hormones, the way our hips are, ACL injuries. There's lots of things, but as well as that, there's the amount of money that's pouring. So there's a lot of things that need to be sorted. But I think now that the women's growth, football's growth is becoming so much, hopefully they can do something to solve them problems as well.
So let's get a little bit more information about how head coverings has been an issue for women in athletics and women's sports.
Muslim women have not been allowed to wear the hijab in many athletic settings, often due to concerns about restricted movement and the garment coming loose or causing choking. The French Football Federation does not allow its players to wear the hijab while playing, keeping Muslim women out of the sport they love. However, the Women's World Cup took place this year with a significant moment in history. Moroccan player Nohalia Benzina became the first soccer player to wear a hijab in a World Cup game. FIFA had initially banned the hijab from being worn while playing from 2007 to 2014. Today, there are plenty of sports hijabs to choose from, as name brands like Nike and Under Armour have released their versions of an athletic hijab.
Thanks so much for that, Maya. From both of us, goodbye for this week. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at American Muslim Today. And if you'd like to read more about this story and access more digital content, feel free to check out our website, AmericanMuslimToday.com. We'll see you next week on The Muslim Viewpoint.